Good morning, everyone. This is the J.R. Magoo Review. Today, I'm going to talk about repairing extension cords. A lot of times people don't realize that you can replace the ends, whether it's the male end or the female end, on an electrical cord. This just happens to be a heavy-duty extension cord that I use for when I'm outside, taking care of the landscaping and so on. You can run the lawnmower, run the blower, and so on like that. Trimmers, hedge trimmers and so on. But I had a shorter extension cord here recently where, the insulation had pulled loose from the plug and the wire eventually broke. So you can go to a local hardware store and pick up one of these. And this is what you're going to do is, like on this one, is I had already trimmed back the outer housing insulation on this one. But what you're going to do is you're going to take a set of wire cutters and clip them. Well, actually, I don't want to clip them just yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Get a razor blade, X-Acto knife, or a sharp knife. Put down a towel. I'm sitting at the dining room table. I want to protect my tabletop underneath here. But carefully start cutting away the plug. Because the reason why I don't want to just cut the wires, you want to make sure that when you put this wire, it goes onto the same connector over here. So let's get back to this, because once I get this apart, you'll see what I mean on the inside. Let's see. Yeah, because so many times people will think, oh, the wire's broken. The only option they have is just to throw it away and go out and buy a new extension cord. But no, you can take it and actually replace the ends. You need some of the very basic tools. I use the wire cutters. This is for electrical here. You can use it for cutting the insulation. There we go. Cutting the insulation here, but it's also, got a cutting blade here. Or sometimes I like to use one of these wire strippers. You grab on and pull, and it pulls the outer part off. You want to get a screwdriver. What's interesting about this plug is when I went to go replace the other plug on the other extension cord, I found out that this is a square drive, and it actually works really good into those little screws right here. Now, it does have the ability to use a Phillips and also a straight slotted screwdriver. But the square drive fits perfectly right inside there. As you see, I'm pulling it right out. That comes out. This is the crimp that will eventually go on the end there. I just want to make sure that these are all loose enough. Okay, let's get back to this. There we go. That one went through. These are always the toughest to get apart. But with a little bit of work, it does come apart. And because you are using something sharp, be careful in handling it because you don't want to cut yourself. Going back to this side. And another reason for having a towel down, if your blade slips and you're sitting at the dining room table, you don't want to end up cutting into your dining room table. As you can see, it does take a little bit of work, but when you do get it all apart, it's well worth it. You know, you'll realize that you don't have to go out and buy a whole new extension cord when all you need to do is just replace the end piece. Now, there are several different types of rated plugs. Because this is a long extension cord and a heavy duty one, I got the 20 amp rated plug because you know, like I said, I do use it for like the blower and hedge trimmer and so on like that. So I want to make sure that the plug can handle that high of a load and not, you know, melt down from heat. Wow, this is a tough one. The other one I replaced didn't have to struggle so much. All right, so here we go. Here's the fun part. Okay, since I already clipped the wire on this one, I know that this is going to go on the, depending on if you're looking at it from the front, it's going to go on the right side. Because here you can see how it is. So this one's on the right side here. This one will be on the left side. And then your green will be your ground connection, which is going to be your ground here. I was really hoping to have this thing come apart a lot easier so I can show you more what it looks like down inside here. There we go. There, we're getting to it. Man, this has really been a struggle. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm getting it apart. All right. So, if you're looking at this from the front, you'll see this one, the white wire, is going to go on the left side. The black one here is going to go on the right side. The green is always going to be your ground. All right. So what I'm going to do is trim this back a little bit. You can trim back as long as you know, because I mean, you could, that way you have this as your reference. See, this is kind of how it's going to be. Okay, so what I like to do then is that's loosened up. Take this, put this over here, feed it through the center here. Get that so your insulated part gets down in there. And then what you're going to do is just get an idea, because you got to remember this is going to go back inside there. So just take and trim these wires back a little bit. And then go back up in here, slip that on. Now here's where we use this tool. So I like this one. They tell you, there's actually a thing right here. It says strip gauge. So it tells you, oh, okay, you can go, here's how it is. It's a little difficult to see, but they want you to strip your wire back that much. I think that's kind of excessive, but hey, you know what? What I'm going to do is strip it back about that much. Okay, so, and I'll do the same with this one. Strip it back about that much. And then your ground connection. Alright. So, the outer housing is already on there. We're going to come up. Okay, so this one's going to be, yeah, if I remember correctly, the square drive on that one is a smaller one. You see that screws that. Just loosen these off. You got your green, that's going to be your ground. And then I like to twist the wire a little bit. Okay, so the white one's going to go onto your, if you're looking at it from the front, it's going to go to your left side. So there's a little opening there. That's going to fit. That's going to fit down in there. Let's open up a little bit more. Alright, here we go. There we go. That fits down in there. Tighten that down. Make sure you get it good and tight. Move on to your next one. Next one is, I'm going to use is the ground. Make sure that's off so this wire slips down in there good and easy. There you go. Tighten that down. Get it good and snug. Get this one over here. Make sure this one's all the way out enough. And then as you see, this was the black wire. That's going to be over on the right side. Just take that, slip that down in there, and tighten this one down also. Just screw down there. Good and snug. This one comes up. It can only go on one way. It's ID'd up in there. Fits down in there. Switch over to my little bit larger square drive. And then start. I always like to make sure this is okay here. Get this started here to tighten down. Doesn't take much to tighten these down. It's like a turn and a half. That's down. You go to these. Make sure this is in there pretty good. Tighten one side down a little bit. Go back and forth between the two. As you're tightening down, you'll see what happens here. Kind of clamps down. Get it so it's good and snug, pretty much flush. I mean, you can see this will clamp on down. And there you go. It's fixed. That's it. Wasn't that really that difficult? You know, just a matter of, as you saw, cutting this plastic hard rubber plug off, having to use like a razor blade or X-Acto knife, or if you have just a regular good sharp pocket knife, you can use that. And then, you know, like I mentioned, I found out that down in the middle here of these screws, it's actually a square drive. There's actually two different sizes. It's a larger one for these, and then down where you connect the wires onto this connector here, it's a smaller one, but you can use a Phillips on these. This will work here also. Not sure, it's going to be a smaller Phillips for these screws right there. So, okay, well, you see we're finished with it. We got a pile of trash here now, but here you go. It's done. You've got this. This is the heavy-duty cable. You can also replace the male side of these. I did this on my shorter extension cord. Same type of setup. Just make sure you get the right amperage rated plugs, because this is an extra long one. I think like a 50 yard. And I use it for outdoors for like the leaf blower, the hedge trimmer. If you have one of those electric lawn mowers that you got to plug into, not the battery powered one, you're going to make sure that you get like at least the 20 amp rated plugs. You could also buy not these big bulky ones, they have smaller ones for smaller extension cords that you use inside the home. Those are going to be like, you can definitely get. Yeah, I know I'm going to have to do this one also because that ground plug is missing. But you're going to be able to replace, these especially on your the type of extension cable that you use inside the home. They have them like 15 amp, I think even 10 amp, but I don't think it goes any lower than 10 amp, but I know they've got like a 15 amp. So, I mean, you're not going to pull a lot of amperage through an extension cord that you have inside the home. So you don't have to go out and buy like a 20 amp, this big bulky one. Well, there you go. Here's a great way that you figure saves you some money. This one here cost less than $6 at the local big box hardware store. You can usually get these at pretty much any hardware store. If you happen to live in a small town or village where there isn't one that's just nearby, you can go online and buy it. But of course, unfortunately, you're going to end up paying a lot more for them than for like this less than $6 for a 20 amp one. I've seen them down as low as like $3 or $4. So that's it. This is a great way. I mean, other than like your time, just doing some cutting and tightening down some screws, and for less than $6, it's a great way of saving money. That way you don't have to take and throw away your extension cord and spend $20 or $30 or $40, whatever they are nowadays. So, all right. You guys have a great day. This is J.R. Magoo Reviews It. Thank you. Bye-bye.